Joining me live is ASPI's Senior Analyst in Defence Strategy and Capability, Malcolm Davis. Good to see you, Malcolm. So Penny Wong travels next week to Israel and occupied Palestinian territories in the West Bank. What do you make of the timing of her trip there, and what message should she be taking over?
Well, look, I think it's very clear that increasingly Western leaders, including obviously the Australian government, are concerned about the potential for a widened war, the potential for the war escalating horizontally, as they say, spreading geographically. You're seeing, increasing attacks in the Red Sea by the Houthis. You're seeing continuing attacks by Iranian-sponsored groups in Iraq and Syria against US forces, and obviously the ongoing tension along Israel's northern border with Lebanon, with the Hezbollah group. So I think that there is growing concern by Western governments to try and prevent a wider war. Whether it will succeed, I don't know. I think Penny Wong calling the Iranian foreign minister probably was an act that really wasn't going to achieve much, because Iran is the country that is essentially manipulating all these groups to essentially threaten a wider war. So we'll see what happens, but frankly, I'm sceptical that any diplomatic efforts will avoid this.
Yeah, so that phone call between Penny Wong and Iran's foreign minister that we think occurred sometime in October, about 16 days after the October 7 Hamas attack. So you think that if she opened another channel with Iran's foreign minister, it probably wouldn't do much?
I don't think so, because Iran is essentially behind a lot of the attacks across the region. They sponsored and supported Hamas in their October 7 attacks. They sponsor Hezbollah. They sponsor the Houthis and arm them. And the Houthis, with their missile launchers and drone launchers against Western shipping, must be getting intelligence from somewhere, and my guess is it's the Iranians. So I think that we need to be cautious about assuming that countries like Iran will actually work towards a peaceful solution.
US Secretary of State Antony Blinken held a reportedly tense meeting with Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, where he urged more humanitarian aid into Gaza and said the Gazan casualties are just too high and that the Palestinian people needed to be able to govern themselves inside Gaza. He also says he's confident of another hostage exchange. Is he being too optimistic? What are your views?
I think he's sending the strong message to the Israelis that they need to reduce or dial back these indiscriminate strikes on Gaza that are causing so much death and destruction amongst the Palestinian civilians. Israel wants to win this not only in terms of destroying Hamas, but also win a secure and stable peace. And for that to happen, they not only need international support, but they also need the willingness of the Palestinian people to work with them. That won't happen if the Israelis are launching indiscriminate attacks on Gaza that are killing large numbers of Palestinian civilians. So I think what Blinken is saying is, look, you need to transition away from that strategy to something that is more focused on the ground, that is more precise and has a greater focus on Hamas itself. And that may mean you can't use artillery, you can't use air power in the same way. Now, that certainly puts IDF ground forces at greater risk. But the reality is that if they want to win this war strategically as well as tactically, they have to bring the Palestinian people aboard. And that would require not only some sort of means to work with a Palestinian Authority in the future, but some sort of international peacekeeping force in Gaza to ensure the situation is stable.
OK. Malcolm Davis, appreciate you coming on the program. Thank you.
Thank you very much.